What's up? What's good? What is happening? Welcome to my live stream. I am the actual King Smith, and I have to get the marketing stuff out the way here. Today's going to be a little bit different, all right? We're going to rock with a segment or a series that I do called Chats with Dads, where I have a backyard style conversation with other men out there about lifehood as a father, okay? Today, I'm streaming across multiple platforms, LinkedIn, my personal Facebook page, because I thought that this needed to reach a different audience, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. If there is a like button to mash that like button. If you have the opportunity to share this video, share it as well. The brother that I got coming up today, I met through a semi-pro flag football team in Lower Central Pennsylvania. He's light skinned like myself. I consider him a smooth talking brother. I know he is a father, but besides that, there's not much else that I know about him besides what he shares on social media. So this should be an interesting conversation piece between two men about fatherhood. He hit me up and said, "Say, bro, how do I get on your podcast and live stream? Uh, Father's Day doesn't get the respect that it deserves out here. And y'all know we just had Father's Day this past weekend. We also had Juneteenth on Monday. And what's interesting about Father's Day is it doesn't get that same love that other days do throughout the year. My own mother even made a joke, and shout out to her. I know she's gonna watch this, and I'm gonna put her on blast. She said a joke talking about how on Mother's Day they get the steak and lobster, and on Father's Day fathers get ramen. And I just laughed, but I'm like, come on, mom. Come on, we need to change that narrative. We need to put some respect on these fathers out there. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring my man Steven onto the platform. Steven, what's good, brother?
What's good, man?
Did
How
I
you doing?
get some? Hey, I'm doing all right, man. I need to get some sound effects. I've recently upgraded my system here, and I need to quit uh hesitating on getting everything going. Brother, how you been, man? It's been a while since me and you actually kind of just chopped it up, because the last time I saw you, we was playing football together, or you was playing football. I was on the sideline warming up the bench a little bit, man. How you been?
Nah, I'm good, brother. I appreciate you. First, let me say Happy Father's Day to you, number one. It takes a lot to be a good father, and you one of them. So I just want to give you your flowers, acknowledge you, man, because I see when you post stuff with your kids, man, they adore you, and I appreciate seeing that as a fellow father. So Happy Father's Day to you, man. Happy Juneteenth.
Hey man, likewise, the same stuff that you said to me, I can say to you as well, because we're linked up across different social media, Facebook, Instagram, and most recently TikTok. I didn't know that you had a TikTok, but a lot of your stuff that you have, man, is like you, your life, and your kids. So let's dive into it, man. So I'm a father of one teenage girl. She's about to be
Bless you.
16. And
Ooh,
hey,
boy.
as a matter of fact, earlier today, bro, check this out. I was on a conference call with my kid's mother, who was my ex-wife, and my girlfriend, planning my daughter's 16-year-old birthday party that's coming up
That's a
next
beautiful
month.
thing. That's a
Hey
beautiful
man,
thing.
I,
Co-parenting at its best, man. Love it.
I'm dude, I'm lucky, man. I'm definitely lucky. My girlfriend told me that, she was a little bit apprehensive about dating men with children because, and I'm kind of doing air quotes here, she didn't want baby mama drama, which I don't have that, thank goodness. But I do know that I'm pretty fortunate to be able to do something like that and not have no static, because being a parent is difficult by itself, even if you're in a two-parent household. But when you're
Hmm.
not in the same household with your kid's parent, man, it can definitely cause some static. So let me ask you, what is your role in the fatherhood? How many kids do you have? And if you don't mind sharing, like, are they with you? Are you together with their mom?
Yeah, no, no, for sure, for sure. So first of all, I got two kids, two boys specifically because the Lord knows I can't have no girls because I'm gonna go to jail. That's just what it is. Because the first time they come on with some tears, I'm like, I gotta go knock on the door. It's just you know. But it's funny because I'm like that with my sons too, man. I don't play no games with them. My boys they're good kids. They're smart, intelligent. They're goofballs, and they're some knuckleheads sometimes, but they mine. So everything, all's good. Me and her mom is not together, but we are in a healthy co-parenting relationship, which is good. It wasn't always that way, but it also, I look at that as we were younger. So as you get older, you learn some things. You understand that the only thing that really matters is what you're doing for the kids. Now, I will also say that doesn't mean that you're not supposed to totally disregard and lose all care for the other parent, because I do believe that you have to, when they need some help, you reach out, you give them a hand, because you might need that in return. So, I think that's a two-way street. But yeah, man, my oldest is 11. He'll be 12 in August, and then I got a young Thundercat that's 9 years old. Man, just that boy, wow, boy, and he's getting to that age where he's like, I'm a test dad a little bit, but you don't understand. I was young once too, and I was way rougher, so he gonna have to tone that down a little bit.
That's what's up, man. Hey, so you had them back to back. Now, were both of your kids, how do I say this? Were they planned, or did it just,
Nah,
hey,
nah.
pops, I'm
Listen,
here?
yeah. So I'd never forget. Well, my oldest wasn't playing. The second one was like, I was working a second job, and I got that phone call, and I walked outside. I was on the third step, and she was like, "I'm pregnant," in tears, because we were like, it wasn't expected. And I was just like, "What I do? what what have I done?" But you know what though, man, kids are a blessing. There's a lot of people who will never get to experience the joy and the pleasure of having kids, and beyond the pleasure of having kids, being able to, especially for men, extend their legacy. You know what I mean? I think men having kids is very important, and taking care of the kids is also goes hand in hand with that. If you're gonna make them, you gotta take care of them, man.
All right. Now, before we get into why you think that Father's Day is just straight disrespected out here, take us back to your childhood. Is your father in your life presently, or was he growing up?
Man, look, I have an interesting story. We don't have time for it today because it's very long. Um, uh, so I'm actually adopted. I just met my real father February last year.
And
So
you shared that too, man, on social media.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. It's and this kind of will segue into why I'm so, I don't want to say appalled, but just irritated with the lack of respect.
Oh no, hold up. I'm gonna try to see what I can do to get my man. Oh, there
Am
you
I back?
go.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, my grandmother, who also just met last year, she was calling me. So that's what I'm gonna
Okay.
have to let
Okay.
her know. Like, Grandma, you're gonna have to run the episode back. But I was saying that this is why it ties into why I think fathers need more respect, because there's this notion that is only fathers that are absent or can be absent, and that's just not the case. So we'll get into that later. But I mean, now me and my biological father, we're building a relationship. I go down and see him from time to time. He lives in Baltimore, which ironically is where I'm from originally. And then the man that raised me is also my father. We're good. We have different outlooks and perspectives on what fathership looks like. But you know what? I don't have anything bad to say. He did the best he could. Um, One thing that I've learned is parenting is hard. There's no manual for it. I just
Nope.
told a friend of mine who's about to be a dad coming up soon, and I said I can't really give you an advice, but the only thing I can say, be present whenever you can. Just be there. Because a lot of times that's enough. Just letting your kids know, like, I got you. I'm always going to be here. Um, that's something that I noticed, especially more in recent months and years. It doesn't take always having money, man. Just going outside. Me and my kids play basketball a lot. We play around the world. That's the game of the house, man. I'm undefeated. You know what I'm saying? I
Better be.
I I try to tell you, you're not gonna beat me until you beat me. I'm not. There's no hands out. So when you finally beat me, that you earned it. But until then, woo, they want to start stacking them L's. That's just
That's
what
what
it
I'm
is.
talking about. Hey man, teaching them life lessons early, bro.
That's
Like,
right.
dude, man, I'm the same way. Like, as my daughter should tell you, I don't take it easy on her. But like, she asked me a question today. She asked me something that I was proud of, and one of the things that I told her that I was proud of, not even like an hour ago, was seeing her cook in the kitchen the first
Yeah.
time. And the reason why is because, okay, like I can't cook, first of all, right? I mean, I can
I appreciate the honesty.
I can make something edible for me to eat, but she was making something for both of us. And the thing that made me proud to see was like, all right, she's about to be graduating and on her own here in a bit, and to know that she can be self-sufficient made me proud. So that's what I told her, and I'm pretty sure she's going to do something else here coming up. I'm about to teach her how to drive here in a little bit, and that's going to be my next proud moment, is having her behind of the wheel, teaching her driving safety and things like that. But I bring that up to say that one of these days, hey man, you gonna get on that court, little man gonna dunk on you one time.
Oh no! So
Hey,
I'm gonna tell you this right now. I have, I've had people try to dunk me. I pulled them out the air. You're not putting me on a poster. You're not doing, like, no way. Like, if you get me, you cross me, and you're already up. I'm like, oh man, like that's happened before. I was playing a fella who he had tries with the Lakers and was playing overseas, and he hit me with a move, left me, and I kid you not, by the time I turned around, he was already in the air, and I was like, oh. If you do that, you earned it. But you're not gonna just go, okay, nah, I can't let you do that. But that is a proud moment with her cooking. I tell you what, something you said, we're raising these kids to be self-sufficient. On the weekends, when I have my kids. So, and actually, to answer your question, I do have a 50-50 schedule with the mother of my kids. So we're on a 2-3-2 schedule. So I like 1 week I'll have them Monday, Tuesday. She'll have them Wednesday, Thursday. I'll have them Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we'll switch. She'll have them Monday, Tuesday. I'll have them Wednesday, Thursday, so forth. But on the weekends, I have them like that's a cleaning day. Sometimes the knock on men is we don't take care of the house enough. So on Saturdays, I'm like, hey man, get in your bathroom, clean the toilet, clean the sink. You know what I'm saying? Get the bleach, spray it down, wipe it down. Because I don't want them to ever be in a situation where they aren't able to be clean about themselves, live in a clean space. So I'm all for that. Like I said, life lessons.
good deal, good deal. Hey man, I'm gonna tell you right now, your kid gonna hit you with that he got game Jesus Shuttlesworth. You know what I'm saying? Where they gonna hit that game with it, be like game, and you just gonna sit there like, damn.
No, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, run it back. It was a fluke. You beat me twice. I might let it alone. That's like my rule of thumb. You beat me once, so you got to run it back, because it might not be a thing. You could have got lucky. So you beat me 3 times, 2 out of 3. All right, you might got it. You might got it.
Being that you had boys, man, what was your input on your children's names? Like, did you have the influence in naming both of your kids? How'd that work out for you?
Listen, if you ask her, she will tell you that she came up with Jaden. So my oldest name is Jaden. I've always liked it because I've always been a Will Smith fan. And
Yeah.
I like the name. I like the name Jaden. She said she came up with it. I let her have that. But my youngest, his name is Julius, and I'm a football guy. And if you're a football guy yourself, Julius, remember the Titans? That was probably my favorite character in the movie. So
Dope.
that's where his name comes from. So I definitely had one. I think I had 2, but if you ask her, she'll say she had the first one, which is fine, whatever. I got one in there, so.
Okay, man, Steven. So let's jump right into it. You said, brother, Father's Day is not sacred. We just had Father's Day. Before I ask you why you said that, how was your Father's Day?
Listen, my Father's Day was a blast. So I had them this weekend, and my kids, depending on the day, they get up early. And this time, like I usually hear them get up, but I didn't this time. You know, they knocked on my door. I woke up, got to wipe the sleep out of my eyes. I'm like, yeah, come in. And they had a card, and they had this bracelet, right? And I just got a shot, so I don't have it on. But it's a on the bracelet, um, it says "Badass Dad," but it's in Morse code. So the beads are in like dash dot 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 dash dash dash, and it says "Badass Dad." And I was like, man, that's tough. And we
Dope.
just spent the day together, man. Had waffles and just did the thing. You know, went out a couple places. Stopped at a friend of my house. They got on the trampoline. It was just good to just vibe with them and just have a good time. Had to get some fried chicken on the way back. You know what I'm saying? Get some mashed potatoes because that's what the mood was. But it was great, man. It was such just a relaxing day, and it was just good to see like that acknowledgement from my kids that lets me know I'm doing a good job. You know what I mean?
Good deal, good deal. There's somebody in the comments that said that that was a dope gift, and I was sitting there
Yo,
like, yeah, man, that is a dope
that
gift.
is fire. I was like, man, and I told him, like I said, I'm no matter what happens, like I'm always gonna have that now from here until the day that it's my time to leave this earth. I'm gonna have that.
You know, there's people out here that leave comments like this, and I just want to let her know that it's appreciated. It says, I don't
Yes,
know what will be
absolutely.
discussed tonight, but know that you both are very much appreciated. That is my lady. She is one of my biggest supporters since I've gotten to know her.
As
So
she
I want to
should be.
say,
Yes.
thank you for that, Michelle. We definitely appreciate it. So you had a
Shout
good
out to you,
Father's
Queen.
Day. You had both of your kids, which is dope, man. I end up spending some time with my daughter. She asked me what it was that I wanted. And originally it was just a game with her because she's a gamer. I'm a gamer.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay.
but she ended up spending some time on Saturday. She went to this thing called Awesome Con down in DC. And when she gets around people, man, folks drain her. So when I got her on Sunday, she really didn't have the energy. So I said, hey, look, don't necessarily worry about games. She's like, no, Dad, let's do it. I said, look, I'd rather have you peppy, but let's just chill on the couch, watch some SWAT on Netflix. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? As
Just
long as I
that
get to
time and
just
energy being
relax.
shared, man.
And then, from time to time, something would come up that would be a subject or something, and then we pause and kind of talk about it. So to me, that was dope. I got what I wanted for Father's Day. Her and I got the opportunity to spend some time together, and I couldn't ask for anything more, brother.
That's amazing. And it's those moments that when you're 50, 60, you gonna look back and remember that specific time in your history and be like, man, me and my daughter. You know, you never lose those. That's amazing.
Yeah, man. So, brother, you said Father's Day is not sacred. What would make you say that whole sentence and stand 10 toes down on it, man? Let's talk about
Bro, listen, stand 10 toes down on it and say with my chest out too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it.
bro, so it's not a lot of things that really get me like fired up, but there's certain things that like when I see it, I just can't let it go. So I'm going to give you a status that I saw, and it's not verbatim, but it's very close.
Okay, let's hear it.
And the status was shout out to all the moms doing as both mom and dad on Father's Day. And then after that, hold on, wait for it. After that, she said, and oh yeah, shout out to the dads that are stepping up too. I said, so not only did you put the fathers last in you know what I'm saying in your post, it was like an afterthought. Oh yeah, shout out. And I just thought like I don't know of any. I'm not gonna say I don't know any, but I'm gonna say Father's Day is top 5 most disrespected holidays out of all. Period.
Yeah.
Because you would never see a status like that on Mother's Day. You would never.
No, no.
Absolutely. And if you did, whoever wrote it would get dragged in the
Oh,
comments.
yeah.
You know it. It's
Mhm.
nobody's gonna let that slide. And it just made me think, like, at what point, like, how did we? end up here. And again, I say that I'm looking at from my own story, and I won't get too in depth to it today. But like, I don't even know my mom, and you out here, like, you can't let the men have that, because there's a lot of good fathers out there, and I don't think they're acknowledged, because I think there's a narrative that's being driven. And I'm probably going to ruffle some feathers here, so I don't mean to upset anybody, but this is just my perspective. I do think there is an agenda to weaken what it is to be a masculine man, and a masculine man is not somebody that is macho, is always trying to tell somebody what to do or this, that. Like, being a man is being able to stand up on your principles and say, this is this, this is that. There's no in between, and this is what we're gonna do. Just period. No ifs, ands, or buts. Leading a family, whatever. And I don't think there's like this movement that says like toxic masculinity. Well, yeah, there's toxic masculinity, but you never, like, well, how come we don't ever talk about toxic feminism?
Yes,
because that's just as damaging, but it's not brought up. If you look at assistance programs, there's the amount of assistance programs there are for men who deal with a different kind of struggle than our queens do. Just because it's not the same doesn't mean it doesn't cause the same amount of emotional or physical damage and trauma. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, man, we're kind of pushed to the side, and it says, and that's the same thing that happens on Father's Day now. And it's not even just on social media. So, fun fact, I've never bought anything off of Amazon or eBay. I know it's 2020. I know, man. I know. And I'm a technological guy. But
how do you live?
Listen, my guy. Listen, I had to make a TikTok about it because I've never bought anything off Amazon. But I got an eBay email, and they were like, again, I'm paraphrasing. They were like, shout out to all the dads, stepdads, father figures, and mothers. I was like, what? Why? Like, I've never gotten that kind of email on Mother's Day, because now we're not going to acknowledge the fathers that have to be quote unquote mom and dad all year round. And I am going to ruffle some feathers real, because I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it unapologetically.
Do it.
If you are a single parent, mom or dad, whatever, that's all you are. You're not playing both roles. You are a single mom or you are a single dad. That's it. You can't play both roles, because as a man, I firmly believe this. If I had a daughter, I can't teach my daughter how to be a woman, because I've never been one. So I can't put myself in her shoes and say, this is what it feels like. This is where these emotions are coming from. This is where this outlook is. We're different people, and that's okay. But on the flip side, yes, a woman can raise a man, but I personally don't think that a woman can teach a man how to be a man. Now, if you're forward thinking, I think having an upstanding man that has good intentions, is doing things the right way to show your son how to be a man, cool. But this notion that, and I know everybody's like, oh, well, I was raised by my mom. All right. And you probably picked up on a lot of her tendencies, a lot of her feminine tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is not a slight on women. If you're a single mom out there and you're raising your kids, kudos to you. But you can't take away from what it means to be a father. Like, you just can't. We bring something different. We bring a different atmosphere, a different attitude. Because I tell you what, I see a lot of these young kids out here back talking their mom, and I'm like, boy, if you was mine, I would physically put hands on you. I'm gonna tell you something. My son, my oldest is Jaden, right? He's 11, but he was 9. Okay, it just so happened to be on Mother's Day, right? It was her weekend. It was my weekend, but it was Mother's Day, so we went on this train ride out in Lancaster, right? We come back, we're at the house. Jaden's running around. He took his clothes off because, we had nice clothes on, go change, whatever. So I was running around the house in his underwear. And at first I'm like, it's funny, like, haha. Like, all right, like, you're in your underwear, it's funny. And afterwards, I'm like, yo, put some clothes on. He's still kikiing, running around the kitchen. I'm like, Jaden, I'm really not, like, go put some clothes on. So he runs to the other side of the table, and he's like, no.
Oh man.
So he's on the other side. So I'm like, nah, man. So I start pushing the table and like cornering him. He starts trying to push the table back on me. I said, oh, Jesus, come get him, because I'm going to send him right to you. So he's like on the windowsill, and he's like starting to scream, stop pushing the table. Who? So finally, like now mind you, I have a long reach. Like my wingspan is 6'6", okay? I'm only 5'11". My wingspan doesn't make any sense. But I reached across the table, right, and snatched him up. And as I get him up here, I looked at her, because she was in the kitchen, and I didn't say nothing, but it was just like, you can't save him right now. Like, there's nothing that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because it was like something you see in a movie. I'm like dragging him through the hallway. He's holding on to the corners, trying not to get that. Man, I took him back to the room, standing on my bed. And I mean, nose to nose. And I said, look, man, when I tell you to do something, I mean for you to do it. Period. You trying to show off in front of her because you think that she can save. She can't save you. She can't. This is my house, and when I tell you to do something, I mean for you to do it. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Mm-hmm. And I said, do you understand me? He stopped all the tears, and he said, yes, clear as day. I said, okay, I ain't had a problem with him since. Like, there's just a different attitude and energy that men bring. You know what I'm saying? Especially, I don't know about you, but man, growing up, boy, I used to get that ass tore up.
Hey, man, I did. The refined guy that you see before you today was a guy that did some stupid shit growing up. Man, I got on a different bus route. So this was before cell phones, or your kid could have watches where you could, find out where they were at. I got off the bus one time and I went like across town to one of my friends' house just to go play and have fun. I was like maybe third grade at the time, third grade, fourth grade, sometime around that time. I knew better. All right. But I get over at my friend's house. My mom doesn't have a cell phone. She gets off work early. Okay. And I'm supposed to be home and I'm not home. So cops got called, the whole nine, man. And when I finally like had the wherewithal to call her, bro, it was nighttime. And this was down in Alabama, nighttime, around the fall time, but it got dark like late. So when I finally called her, she came and got me, man. I got home, and I'm not gonna say exactly what occurred because I don't know if the statute of limitations still apply, but let's just say I couldn't sleep on my back because I got a belt to my backside, man, that hurt for days.
You got a whoop until she got tired.
But I definitely had a lesson learned that day, man. My dad was a truck driver, so when he found out about it, and like I said, it wasn't like cell phones like now where you could text or call somebody, man. This was in the late 80s, early 90s, and man, let's just say,
did you get a second beating?
No.
Oh,
the one that my mom gave me for doing that was enough, man. So yeah, man, the refined person that you see here today on this live stream came from a lot of stupid stuff in my youth.
Man, I genuinely think that's the problem with some of these kids, man, because with the way society is, don't touch your kids. I tell people now, if my kids acting a fool, they gonna get a whooping. It is what it is, because that's how I need to discipline my child, because neither of them are gonna be out here acting a fool. I've never really had to do that, but they know that is a possibility, because that fear will create that sense of, let me think this through real quick, because there's consequences for my actions. Yes. And I don't have to worry about the police. I gotta go home. And what happens at home is going to be far worse than what they do to me. So let me go ahead and keep in line. And the nice thing about it, it's not just like their mom's the same way. Go act the fool if you want to. All right, you gonna learn.
There's some in the comments that I want to highlight that I like to get your thoughts on. So God Happened to Me said, as someone who grew up without a father, I can honestly admit that I had a horrible view on Father's Day for a long time. And she followed that up with, it took a lot of healing and reflection to realize that while I didn't have my birth father, I had a father figure, and one absent father does not reflect all fathers. So you were adopted. I mean, I'm gonna just ask you, was that a good experience for you, man?
So first I want to do. I just want to. I'm not sure who said that comment, but I just want to say I want to acknowledge that and lift that up. Like, thank you for that. That's God Happened to Me. Listen, that is to be that vulnerable and say that and admit that to strangers. I appreciate that. I'm sure King does too. Like, thank you for that. That warms my heart because that means that this is definitely a conversation that needs to be had and probably needs to happen more often. But to answer your question, King, it was. Uh, it was. I can't really say I haven't. I am who I am today because of how I grew up. I definitely had some traumas that I needed to get over, that I still need to get over. And it's a hard journey and process. But I think, again, I go back to my father did the best that he could, that he knew how to do. He was not a real emotional person. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't out here giving the hugs and growing up. Like I'm not really like I'm not a touchy feely huggy person anyway. But like I try to specifically with my kids, like I give them hugs just randomly, like just come here, man. Like, and it's funny now because my oldest, as he's getting older, he's like, daddy, don't you? I'm like, man, come here, you gonna give me a hug? You ain't got no choice, you know. But I think I had the opposite kind of effect as what the young lady just said. You know, she grew up with a father, I grew up with a mother, and so like that has hindered me for sure in building really meaningful relationships with women and understanding them and being clear how to. I don't want to say how to treat them, but just I think just understanding women because I wasn't around them like that. I didn't have that. So now I'm trying to learn. And I make mistakes because I don't have that like emotional showing that's really necessary. But it's a learned behavior. It's a pattern, and I got to do a little bit better, to change that. Because everybody wants to feel love. You know what I mean? So
Hey man, you I felt was vulnerable by saying that. So I have to ask you, how did you learn that about yourself? Like at what age or how long ago did having that type of knowledge that you just said click for you, you know?
so I would have to say just a couple years. So I'm 32, right? So I would probably say when I got to my 30s, and I would say probably the first time I spoke to my grandmother on the phone. I just finally found out who she was. The first time I talked to her, and I had these feelings that kind of came out of nowhere, and I was like, man, like I've missed this. And my grandmother, man, she's old school. Okay, she lived down in North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Like was in the military. Military police. Like she don't play no games. I call it. She's a hard ass, man. But you know what? She told me, she was like, I love you, and I'm gonna be here for you, and I never leave you. And like I felt that, and I was like, man, like that's really the first time I felt like a woman say that to me, and like that motherly type of love and mean it. And that's when I was like, man, like I got some I got some demons, bro. Like, and now I'm like, looking back on, past relationships and stuff like that. I'm just like, all right. I see how I was, because I believe any relationship that ends, I don't think it's ever just one person completely. But I see how I could have added to a problem.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, I would probably say it hasn't been that long. It's a long journey, man, and being real with myself. I'm saying, you know what, you got some pain to deal with, because I like to work out. I like. I feel I have a fairly tough demeanor. Not too many things get to me, but that's not always a good thing. And that's the type of stuff that you pass on to your kids and not even realize it.
You know what? That's actually pretty fair because you started saying some stuff, and I started to really think. Like, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you and I are very similar in that I think we do take time to reflect about the person that we are, and even look forward to the person that we're looking to become. And part of
Hmm.
what I do is it's not just like my own life that I'm doing that with, but I'm also thinking about how the decisions that I make, or the words that I say, or how I handle my kid affects her and stuff as well. Because just like you said, man, there is no manual on really how to do this. But like, I got my
Nah.
homeboys, man. We call each other the Afros. All of us are fathers. All of us are in various stages of either currently married or had been married. And I'll raise my hand and say, man, I'm 38, about to be 39 this year. I'll still have instances where I'll hit them up, man, in the homie chat, be like, hey, man, like, so this is happening, man. Have y'all ever had this? And it's good to be able to have my homies, those peers, you know what I'm saying, that have been there, done that I could kind of bounce things off of, man.
Oh,
Do you have that?
first of all, that's a beautiful thing, and I want to tie that into the lack of respect for Father's Day, because I don't feel like there's enough women that realize that men are doing just what you're doing, having
Mm,
conversations. Hey, bro, I need help. I've never experienced this, because a lot of times there's this notion that men got these big egos and they don't talk to nobody, and they don't ever ask for help. Man, look, there's just some things that just I might not openly say to, not saying you, but to somebody else. Yeah,
hmm.
I'm struggling with this, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to have a conversation with somebody that I'm close to, that I'm like, bro, I just don't know, you
Yeah.
know. So, and I have two that I do that with. You remember Kai
Hmm.
Bunce,
Yeah.
Sir Neck a lot.
Yep. Sir Tank, man. Hey, I ran up trying to tackle him one time, man. Straight up bounced off of him.
Woo!
I said, good.
Yeah,
Good. This dude is a
bruh.
solid guy.
Yeah.
A shout out to Kyle, man. He's a solid
Yeah.
dude.
Kai and Carlos. He also played with us. I don't know if you remember Carlos. Carlos is real tall.
Tall, light
He
skinned
played
guy.
tight end. Yeah, he
Played a
played
tight
tight
end,
end
yeah.
for us. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And those two guys, man, because I've known them since I was 15 years old. So I moved to PA when I was like 11. So I've known them for literally over half my life, you know. And it's character development. Like I've seen them at their go through changes. They're worse. I don't personally think I've seen the best yet. I think the best is still yet to come, but we're on the way there.
Dope.
And and same for myself. They seen me on the floor. You know what I mean? And not knowing left, right, up, down. So I'll probably say those are the only two people that I really confide in that aspect. That are my age. I do have a mentor. Shout out Jason Reed. Um, he's gotten me through, like, because he knew me when I was a young Thundercat running around acting crazy. Getting into fights, doing just out of control. And he's probably the one. He was probably the one person I say that was definitely like a father figure, because no matter what kind of trouble I got into, man, he was always like, "You're a knucklehead, but we're gonna work through this." You know what I mean? And I appreciate that. So, and I definitely wouldn't be the person I am without him as well. So shout out Jason Reed, man. I appreciate you. But again, I don't think men they don't get their flowers, man. Like I said, they and it's not even, I can't even just put it on it's not even just women. I want to go in and say this. I don't see it just from because listen, bro.
Yeah.
I got on the GFA page and I seen a dude. So for y'all that are watching, don't know, the GFA page is the Great Eastern Football Association. It's an 8-man league, right? And there's a group of players. You know, there's all types of conversations going on in there. And let me tell you, I seen a dude in there that said, "Shout out to all the moms." And I was like, "What? What, bro? What is you on?" Like, not like, that's like imposter syndrome. Like,
Yes.
stop. Like, acknowledge the man. It's Father's Day. It's not Mother's and Father's Day. They're not gonna join. They had it. We gave them their flower. And like I said, I've never seen a post where a man is like, "Shout out to all the fathers that gotta be mothers on Mother." I've never seen that.
Not once. And look, I'm on social media. I've got a pretty decent network. I haven't seen it one time that
Not
a
one
guy's
time.
done that.
No. So, and again, ladies, I know it's not all of y'all, but I'm just saying there is a vast majority that do this every year. I just like, yo, why? And you know what? Maybe. I don't even know, because I'm out here stirring the pot. I'm like, man, maybe we need to go ahead and get one of them on here and ask her, why do you do this?
Hey,
Can I gain some perspective?
it would yield anything fruitful. My brother has been on a mission for the last 4 years. Anytime he's been networked with somebody who's done that, he goes, "This person just doesn't get life," and he blocks him. He's like, "That tells me all I need to know about that person." And you'll catch a couple of them every year. I had hoped that I would be able to get through this Father's Day and not see one. I saw two.
So I'm gonna give you the other post that I saw. This young lady, Facebook. She said, "Happy Father's Day to all the fathers," right? Okay, boom, end post. She posted another post and shouted out all the moms that are playing father roles. Okay, now peep this. I was the only person that had liked the Father's Day post, right? The one shouting out the moms had 6 likes and 3 shares. I said, "Night, you."
Hey,
The disrespect.
Steven, you know what, man? Maybe it's guys just make it look easy, bro. Maybe that's what it is. Let me stir up the pot a bit. Maybe guys just make it look easy.
Listen, I told her, man, parenting is a 2-person race, okay? And we also need to remember that the saying goes, "It takes a village to raise a child." I can't tell you how many times I've had to call on her parents, my friends. They'd be like, "Hey, can you watch Jane or Julius because I got to go do something, or I have to work, or I have to go, whatever."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah." So at no point, I don't care if you are a single mom, at no point are you, let me rephrase, if you're a single mom or single dad, at no point are you doing it 100% by yourself. Somebody has helped you out at least once. Because you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Because kids are temperamental. They got attitudes. We're adults. We get fed up. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we just need, so just give people their flowers, man. Acknowledge the moms, acknowledge the dads, and just, because there's a lot of us that are out here that are doing it right. We're making the sacrifices. We're not doing things that we want to do because we got kids. We're not going to school. We're not going to pursue this dream or this goal for the simple fact that we got kids. So we out here, man.
Yep. There's a couple of comments that I want to take the time to read out here. To an earlier point, God had me said, "A woman can rear a boy, but I believe only a man can help a boy become a man." Salute
Yes,
to you for
Lord.
that one.
And you know what? I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And again, I'm a ruffle some feathers, so bear with me, King. I believe that everybody man and woman, has a role to play. And I don't mean have a role as in the woman is supposed to be in the kitchen and man's supposed to go to work. None of that nonsense. But I do believe that a woman is supposed to nurture. That's her role because that is who she is. She is that brings that feminine energy, and we need that. But it is also a man's job to be the protector and to raise a protector.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to, it's hard for me to speak on girls because I don't have girls. But I would say this: I was blessed to be Kai's and Sarika's his fiance, Kai and Sarika's godfather. They got 6 girls. So, and I be, you know what I'm saying, listen, they hate when I come around, especially if the boyfriend around, because I be on her. I'll be like, hey man, the one kid I said, what's up with them grades? And he looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, yeah, she ain't dating no bums. We don't do no scrubs over here. Sorry, you know what I mean? But I don't think there's anything wrong with saying like there's a certain role for women when it comes to parenting, and there's a certain role for men when it comes to parenting, because there's just some things that men just aren't good at. That's okay. I have no my ego is not that big. I'll take a back seat, like, you know what? This job is better suited for her. However, vice versa, it goes the same way. There's just some things that I'm better suited that she's not. Because I tell you what, when I tell you do something, boy, you better do it. And that's it. That's no if you know. So yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I want to bring this one up too. Shout out to Chris Lansfair, Chris and Kathy Lansfair. I went to high school with this cat. He says, I feel this in so many ways. Before Haley was born, I stopped and reflected and asked myself, how do I be an example for Haley? Now, I know Chris. I've known Chris since high school. I haven't seen him since I graduated, and I think I maybe caught him 1 or 2 times since I went back to Alabama. I still don't know if he's down there, but Chris, I appreciate you popping into the live stream and commenting on this as well. I know that when he had kids, man, I think he would be okay with me saying this. He had one kid that he lost, and I can't imagine what you would go through as a parent to, you know, lose a young one. There's been several notable people out there. Ray Lewis, I don't, you know, since you follow sports, I'm pretty sure that you heard about that. His son, who's named
28
after
years
him,
old,
Ray Lewis III, 28 years old, passed away just last week. And when I heard the news, I said, "Yo, that's sad.
It's the most
That's
tragic thing that could happen to a parent. The most tragic thing. I've had, and because, you know, the mind wanders, and you know, what if something happened? Like, I literally don't know. I genuinely think I would have a mental breakdown. Like, I think I would physically lose my mind, because your kid's supposed to outlast you. You go before they do.
Yep, bro. I had a nightmare one time about losing my daughter. I woke up crying. I woke up bawling, and I could not calm myself down, man, because it hit me like how that might feel. You know what I'm saying? And like when it was a good like hour of the day, man, I called her just to hear her voice, man. I had to hear her voice, and I have peers and people that I've met, you know, throughout life that have lost their kids. Some of the parents that I still, you know, talk to and just keep in touch with from time to time, and I can't imagine that. And it would be nice for me if life continued that way.
Right.
But let's change that subject, because sheesh.
It done got heavy.
There's a question in the chat for you from Michelle. She said, what has been your greatest joy thus far in fatherhood, and what's been the hardest part?
My greatest joy, I think, has been watching the kids evolve and come into their own demeanor and their own sense of being. So when they were, you know, much smaller, and they're still growing, and it's going to change. You know, they're coming into their adolescent years, teenage years, and like just watching them and see them becoming their own person. You know, they have bits and pieces of me and their mom, but like there's just certain characteristics that are strictly Jaden and Julius. You know what I mean? And I think that's my biggest one because, yeah, I want them to have, like I'm athletic. I play sports. Man, my kids, boy, woo, athletics is not for them. They be trying, but boy, whoo, and I just be like, like what happened? Like, where did I go wrong? Like, it's just, but you know what though? Again, that's who they are, and my oldest in particular, super smart. I personally think he needs to go into a private school because I don't think he's going to be challenged the way he needs to be just in public school. He's hyper intelligent. He understands things far above his years, especially educationally, and some just stuff that happens in life. Um, and I say the hardest thing, as far as being a father, is seeing like little things that they can do better at and not giving like the full potential. And I give you a perfect example. So Jaden made honor roll this marking period, right? Shout out to you, Jaden. I love you. Good job. But he got all A's and 2 B's. And in both the classes that he got B's in, they were B pluses. And he had some missed assignments in both the classes. Had he simply turned in the assignments, even one of them, he got all A's. And I told him, I said, I'm very proud of you. You did a fantastic job. However, you left points on the board. Like easy,
like
you know what I'm
that.
saying? Like, you don't play sports, but we don't leave grades on the board either. Like, don't do that. Like, because and he'll say, he hears him say, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it 100%. Like, again, he's not a sports guy, but we're gonna put that type of energy into it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it right. Period. And so, just them not realizing their potential, and they're young. Like, I get it, but I'm like, man, like I see, like, I think I see where your ceiling is up here. You don't see it yet, and it's just like you got to be patient. You gotta push them, but you can't like drive them away. You know what I mean? So I think that's probably the hardest part. Because like I said, man, I can't lie. I got good kids, man. My kids are good. They don't get in no trouble. They game, and they're just kids, man, out here just enjoying life.
Okay, I got one more comment to read, one question for you, and then I'm gonna ask you a question to close out the live stream today.
Let's go.
Chris wrote, I had to keep myself strong for Kathy. I thought men weren't supposed to cry when everything came full circle. I broke down and somehow remained strong. Still live in Alabama, taking one life at a time. Hashtag Haley Strong. So, hey, Chris.
Hashtag Haley Strong.
I hope that by talking about that, man, I didn't bring up anything, that you didn't want said. I know you talked about it publicly, man, and things like that. But I appreciate you sharing it with us when, knowing that you had that happen to losing a kid. The question that I wanted to ask you before I ask you the one thing to close out the show, this is from God Happened to Me. If you could say one thing to women out there today, advising them on the importance of fatherhood and being a Black father in 2023, what would you say?
It's so funny because it's almost like I was born for this question. So the first thing I would say is don't allow your feelings and emotions towards a man dictate who you put your kids around. So a man could have done you wrong, and I'm sure they have the same way men and women do each other wrong all the time. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that all men and women are bad. That doesn't mean like, oh, this man did me wrong, so there's no other man that's going to come around my son or my daughter, you know what I'm saying, and try to influence them, because you will literally stunt their growth. Be smart, be mindful, don't just bring anybody around, but there's a lot of good men out there that, for all bets and purposes, only want to see other young people be successful and move forward. I'm one of those people. The kids are the future, man. I love the kids. Love the kids. And I think in order for us to make any type of real progress, not only in this country, but in this world, and that is to make sure that we get the kids at a young age and growing them up right and letting them know, like, hey, your focus can't simply be just sports all the time, or your focus can't simply be just music all the time. You got to have a balance. I tell people all the time, especially like my kids don't play sports, but my oldest likes to build stuff. He's 11. He wants to be an engineer. How many 11-year-olds are like, when I grow up, I want to be an engineer? Like, what?
Yo.
Like, okay. And so now it's my job, or our job as co-parents, to cultivate that and help that grow. You know what I'm saying? And so, ladies, talk to your kids, ask them what they want, ask what they like, and bring them around, good, upstanding men that that have nothing but the best interests for your child and just children in general, because it'll make a world of difference. You'd be surprised how attitudes change, how grades might change. Because like I said, my goddaughter, I get on them all the time. What's them grades like? School's hard, I get it, but you know what though? It's about the future, So yeah, don't keep men away from your kids because you were hurt by one.
Hey man, that's a fantastic response, and that actually leads me to my last question that goes to the subject: how can we turn it around for everybody and make Father's Day more sacred?
I think first thing is, I think there has to be some acknowledgement on both sides. So, ladies, acknowledge the fellas, right? And fellas, we got to acknowledge the ladies too a little bit more often sometimes, not just on Mother's Day, because it is hard being a mom. And I understand it, because I see what my kid's mom goes through sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, moms will have the kids a majority of the time. Not saying like they do more, but they might have them around. And so, something, just acknowledge it, say thank you. Let them know that you see them. You know what I mean? And communication, I think those two things would go a long way. And there's another thing. Don't be selfish. You know what I'm saying? Ladies, y'all got a day. We get one too. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, though, don't only use Mother's and Father's Day to acknowledge, the parent.
Hey man, you said something that I say all the time. I'm not somebody that celebrates days. I've never been one to really do that. I didn't really see it a lot growing up. But
Right.
I say all the time, every day's Father's Day. Every day's
Yeah.
Mother's Day. Don't do nothing
Yeah.
special for me just because there's a day
It's
that
on the calendar.
is
Yeah.
set to,
That somebody
celebrate it
made
on the
up and
calendar.
threw on there. Yeah.
Yeah. Every day's Mother's Day. Every day's Father's Day. Every day is Appreciate Your Child Day, man. So if you have the opportunity, you're living and breathing on here, make sure that you are appreciating each other. Because I'm telling you, there are people in rough spots. You don't know what everybody's going through.
You don't know what everybody's going through.
Be thankful for what you have, or if you got the opportunity, seek something that you might want if you don't necessarily have it. There are people out there that are willing to provide you whatever it is that you need in a safe way and a safe space, if you open up your mouth about it. So absolutely,
Closed mouths don't get fed, man.
closed mouths don't get fed. Well, hey Steven, I appreciate you coming on, man. My favorite guests and people that come on my live streams are those that reach out to me and say, hey man, how do I get on? I'm like, easy, you're on. We just got to make the schedules and stuff work out. So I know that just before the live stream, people don't know this, there were some things that almost made this not happen, but Steven made the choice to still be on and make this work. So I appreciate you coming on, man. I'm like a little bit, riled up now, man. Yeah, a lot more energized. And it speaks to this comment right here that says, real talk. We need a part 2 of this conversation. Women need to hear more of the perspectives of men, and fathers need the encouragement and support that you offered, that you both offered tonight. And look, this is why I do this. This is why I do. If one person came on and there was some value given to just one person, that right there
Making a
make
difference.
this hour worth it, man. So, Steven, thank you for coming on. You know how to bang my line, man. I definitely have to have you come back on, because I think that if you're willing to talk about it, there's some stuff there on the adoption side of the house that you even said, man, there's a whole lot more and not enough time in the
Boy.
hour. So I love to have you back on, man.
Listen,
Anytime.
all you
It's
all you
been a
gotta do
pleasure.
is let me know, man. I don't mind talking. And they said if I can help impact somebody in a positive way, all the better.
All right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you popping on. I don't think I've ever done this before. Is your social media open? Like, are you a social media guy, or do you just more
Yeah.
have it just for? Okay, all right.
No, it's so you know I need to do better with my TikToks, man. Because I like to make funny stuff. I like to make people laugh, you know. So you know what? Shoot, I don't even know all my handles.
It's all good. Post.
But to be honest, I'm really Instagram and TikTok, man. Those are probably about Facebook. I kind of I shy away from it because of just the foolishness that I see in there. That's like, and see me, I see something, I'm like, man, you don't know what you touch. And then I get myself in trouble, man, because I'm if you want to talk, so I'll argue with you. I do not care. Yeah. And that's a waste of time, man. So it's Facebook I don't do, but Instagram and TikTok. I think it's Stephen Walker 91, I believe, is both my Instagram and TikTok handles.
I'll go back and post and put it down in the description in case people want to link up. Because look, I tell people this: all of my social media is open. Every last single social media that I have is open, because I'm like, look, I'm just one person in the trillion people that's out here, but I'm all about, you know, trying to make a positive impact
Networking, impact,
and things like that.
Yes, sir.
So I leave all my stuff open. I ain't had too many crazies reach out to me. You know what I'm saying? So if you're willing to do that, man, I'll put your stuff up there in case somebody wants to link up with you. And thanks for coming on, man. I got one thing before you go. One thing before you go. You from Baltimore, but you said Baltimore. You said Baltimore.
I know.
You said the T.
I know, but here's the thing, man, bro. Listen, I've been up here 20 years.
A
long time, man. It's a lot. Yeah, every now and again, the Q's, the U's, they, you know, it'll slip. But I've been up PH, man. Shit. But listen, Charm City, I will always forever claim that as home, man.
That's what's up. That's
Ravens
what's up.
Nation for life.
Yes, Ravens. Hey, I'm Ravens Nation temporarily. Temporarily. All right, brother. Hey, man. Hey, hang back a bit, man. I'm gonna close out the live stream and we'll go from there, man. All right.
Everybody that watched, thank you.
Peace. Yes, sir. Peace. That was Stephen Walker. Like I said, I met Stephen in Lower Central Pennsylvania on the semi-pro team, the Cumberland Valley Hitmen. He was one of the team captains and a solid dude. A solid guy in the short time that I got a chance to hang out with him up there. And I appreciate him coming on. Talking about why Father's Day isn't sacred and what we need to do to try to turn it around. I think the work that needs to be done to change that narrative, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be hard, right? It's going to be hard because, being honest, like, there are guys out there that are just scumbags. And then when they hurt somebody, now that leaves that person that they hurt with a warped sense of kind of how guys can be. And then now what? On one hand, somebody like me would say vet better, but we're not going to get into that right now. I appreciate everybody that tuned in and watched while this was live, and everybody that's going to catch this on the replay. If you haven't already hit that like button or that love button, whatever your platform offers, do that for me and hit that like button. If you ever want to come on Chats with Dads, in the description is my link tree that has all of my social media handles. I'm not that hard to reach. If you want to come up and chop it up with me, bang my DMs and we can get this cracking. That's it. I don't think I have a proper sign off for a Chats with Dads. So we just gonna go with my normal outro. I'm out, y'all. Peace.